York City! Happy Friday the 13th. Holy shit. All right, this one's going to be live. It's going to be lit. Mark it explicit already. I'm going to start with the message of the week. We're going to pop this off right. I'm doing the show alone today. Here we go. This week is starting by changing the clocks, has a full moon, is flanked by leap year, and ends with gloomy and rainy Friday the 13th. Good luck, people, and don't forget to wash your hands. I got to say, shit's crazy right now. New York City's in a very, very strange place. The trains were very clean. Very odd. Very sanitary subway stations. Still smells like shit, though. Emergency track work on the way here. There's hardly anybody on the trains, and they just decided to operate like it's a weekend in the winter, and the train took a long time. I was sprinting from Penn Station. I had to call Sam and say, you might have to phone me in to start this one off because that would be appropriate. It would be totally appropriate to have a Facebook Live. I'm on the phone. You're looking at an empty chair. We look kind of like this. It's a fucking weird one, and I'm going to make it weird. I'm always trying to be a reflection of the times of what's happening, and today I'm going to do my best. I'm going to try to have a glass forehead. We'll see what happens. I have no idea what's going to happen. I'm going to follow that message up with another one I've been saying a lot lately, and people seem to really get it, and I think right now is very appropriate for this, and it is get comfortable being uncomfortable. Changes are coming, whether you like it or not. It's a mantra that is often said in business, and it's a very important one because you think you're a business owner, you think you're your own boss, when really, as soon as you become that, you have to answer to so many more people than you did when you were just an employee. And so your ability to relax and rest and experience comfort greatly diminishes. It's also a saying that we utilize often in jiu-jitsu, which I train and teach regularly, and you often find yourself in the bottom of some very sticky situations, and the best thing to do is not panic, is to relax, to find some sort of comfort in a situation that often doesn't offer much. So we're taking calls today as well because I'm alone, so let me try to maintain the regularly scheduled program. My guest today is sick, and I told his ass to stay home. I ain't trying to catch that shit. No, I don't know if he's got the swine flu or not, but he decided to stay home. So I'm doing the show alone today. Sam, the executive producer, warned me when I started, one day you'll have to do it alone. Somebody's just not going to show up. You're going to be in the chair by yourself. I figured now's as good a time as ever to roll this out again. Getting out of my own comfort zone. I'm definitely not shy, and I have a lot to say, but it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Before we move on, I got a caller. I did want to say, if you can, give a call in the station. Give me some shit to talk about. Get me off the hook if you see me starting to drown. Throw me a line, folks. The number is 212-721-8183. We're going to put Andy on the phone. Andy, how you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good. I know which Andy this is. Trying to be slick, trying to be sly. What's going on, man?
I just thought I'd call in and talk to you on your show.
Thank you. I've been trying to get you on here, you and Lisa, for some time now.
Yeah, well,
this is what the future looks like.
That happened, yeah. Apparently, we can't leave our house, so that's going to be rough right now. But
yeah, are you in Brooklyn? Did you guys stay? You didn't head for the hills? You're not in some bunker somewhere with a bunch of keto snaps and a guitar? And
yeah, exactly. No, we are riding it out at home, and we're both feeling fine so far.
Good,
and
good.
Minimizing our interactions, etc. as per the recommendations, but yeah, I've been I've been checking out your show and loving what you're doing, and spent about a day being like, maybe I should have a podcast.
Maybe you should. We can help with that. Actually, Sam's rolling out a podcast instructional in a couple days, right, Sam? Yeah, that if you check in with Talking Alternative Broadcasting, there'll be some instruction there. And I think it's definitely helped me. And I think with people having more time on their hands and being at home, you still have to communicate some way. I was saying to Sam when I first got here, I'm trying to not be opportunist about this whole situation. I'm trying to just like lay back and ride the storm, but it's already obvious that there are going to be a lot of openings. Things are going to be a little bit different, and people that are already acclimated to that climate are going to be able to at least maintain. That's my only goal in all this. I want to tell everybody a little bit about you and what you do. Andy is a musician, a very accomplished musician, guitar player. He and his wife have a band that I played with from time to time, and she's a singer and a nutritionalist, and they own a cookie company based off of the keto diet or keto. Am I saying it right? Keto or keto? I always fuck this up.
It's actually keto. Yeah, ketogenic.
Ketogenic. Mm-hmm. And they have a cookie called Keto Snaps, which are keto-friendly little treat that you can have. And they've gone through their share of shit for sure in terms of production and distribution and everything. Have you all noticed anything changed so far for you all, for your company?
Not for us specifically, but looking at sort of watching the industry that we have been a part of. It's clear. All the trade shows are closing down or not happening.
Yeah, big time.
And we were not at the point where we were attending a lot of those. So the big ones like Expo West, which was a big deal that it canceled, and then that's like the big one for a lot of the organic health food brands, and it's just it's clear that it's really affecting a lot of, especially the small businesses, people,
Sure.
Especially startups like us,
Mm-hmm.
and who they a lot of us throw down pretty big time to go to these trade shows. It's
right.
It's expensive to go there. It's expensive to travel. You have to take a lot of product, which you're going to inevitably give a lot of it away in sampling and stuff like that. So it's a really big investment for the really small startups. And so that kind of cancellation, there's no recourse in that case. You just have to kind of
you eat it.
You eat the loss.
Yeah, definitely.
And the trade shows, I mean, it's not that they're not also hurt, but my understanding is, the business model on those, and I'm sure it's different from show to show, but a lot of them, basically the show that's up is promotion for next year. And so they have sort of it's a slightly different loss for them. Because,
absolutely.
they don't, there's actually, and again, this probably is trade show to trade show, but by and large, they don't offer refunds.
Yeah.
So there's, they still have their money. They just don't have the show. I'm sure there's loss of revenue involved in all that, but it's not the same.
And loss of face too. I mean, all that is exposure, like you were just saying. They're pumping up their next year's show. It's an advertising platform for them, and they lose it. All those eyes, they lose it.
Yeah. And one of the things that there's a guy I've been following on LinkedIn who's all about small brand ramping and stuff like that.
Who is it?
And
by the way,
he actually wrote an article recently, a few weeks ago, where he was just basically saying that trade shows for tiny brands are just a massive misplacement of marketing dollars. There's just
for the
not
small
enough
brands
to gain
yeah.
at the small startup stage in those settings to justify the cost.
Yeah.
And we can kind of attest to that on a personal level.
Right.
So it's, interesting.
Yeah, definitely. The show today was actually supposed to be about personal brand and developing your brand, and it still will be. It just will be without my guest. I had a real estate agent from Windsor Terrace, from the neighborhood, a Halstead agent, broker, that was supposed to come on, and I've been spending some time with him lately. And they take it really seriously, real estate people, because they actually, they're not selling anything of their own. It's always like they're selling somebody else's home and all kinds. It's just insanity, that whole world. So they really what they have is like their reputation and their ability to communicate. And it sounds to me like that's what that gentleman was talking about. Like at the small brand level, that's really your currency. Trying to get, you're in a trade show with like these massive people. I've gone to the food expo here in New York, and it's like there's every massive company that exists. They're there, and then you're up in competition with them. And for them, like that show is nothing. It doesn't.
Right.
And for you, it's like it'd be like 6 months revenue. That you put up. up front, hoping that it pays off. And if it cancels or if it doesn't, either way, that money's bye-bye. And it's a cash flow business, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a really interesting business, and we got into it at ground zero, just in terms of not knowing anything really.
Right.
And so, huge learning curve for us.
Were you guys imitating me?
Just we're like, hey, let's not know what we're doing and try that. No, it was.
He looks like he's having fun.
Super interesting process. And then on top of that, this last year, I've been just focusing on providing client-based graphic design services. So this last year was full on entrepreneurial for me.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And, which is why you should have come on the show.
Humbling. A humbling experience, but really, great, amazing learnings.
No, absolutely, and it should be. And that's something I'm going to talk about a little later in the show too, is being diverse. And I mean, how many freelancers do you know that in the last 2 days are just like, holy shit, what just happened? Like 4 to 6 months worth of gigs canceled in a 2-day period, tours canceled, and a lot of these guys don't have. They're amazing at what they do, but a lot of them don't have a backup. They don't have another skill set that they've been honing over the last 10 years to kind of fall back on. And I think this is going to test everybody's jaw. This whole thing is going to test everybody's jaw. We're going to see who can take a clip and stay on their feet. And that's really what a lot of this is about, is your ability to survive. I mean, both, from a health standpoint, but definitely from a business standpoint and how thick your skin is. A lot of people, I feel like, came up in a digital era. Like, when was the last time there was I think they said on Monday it was like the worst opening day since 2008. And a lot of people have been in business. They started since 2008, so they've been riding high, all this time, and every wave recedes at some point. So it's really going to test a lot of people. I think it's unfortunate. I think I definitely will feel bad for anybody that suffers major losses in all of this, because a lot of it too seems unnecessary. Perhaps we'll find out, but. There could definitely be a lot of unnecessariness that's happening, and people are going to suffer because of it.
Yeah, it sure seems like we could have a better system in place for when this kind of thing happens. And, speaking of, I know that your Facebook feed is full of musicians like mine, and just the amount of gigs and tours that have been canceled. And, these are people who don't have, by and large, don't have like you said, a safety net. Their health insurance is probably
if they even have it,
effective health insurance that is affordable, or they don't have any. And so the questions about should one of us who don't have health insurance get sick? How are we going to pay for that, or how are we going to be treated? And are there treatments? Can we get tested? There's so many questions. There's so many holes in this whole scenario for everybody,
and for a lot of people that hasn't even hit yet.
And if this doesn't raise the conversation around these things, as we're entering into this this election, I don't know what it's going to take. Yeah. But I did see, and maybe was it you that somebody posted something where it was like, sort of pointing out that you'd think that Sandy Hook, we would have learned about would have learned something about guns. And I don't know, it rattled off a few of these things where it was
it wasn't me.
Events that happened where they should have just changed the national conversation and didn't. Yeah. And that's kind of the downside of our type of democracy, I guess.
Well, we're going to have to take a break, man. I'm really appreciative that you called in. It's great to catch up, and maybe we'll see each other around the hood a little bit more now that everybody's, me, I'm always there anyways. But now I feel like I'm about to get a lot of attention because I'm always in the neighborhood, and now everybody's going to be there. Like, oh, this guy, shit. At least before we could tune him out. Now we're stuck.
Keep doing what you're doing, man. And I hope we get to play some music someday.
Yeah, and just hang out. If you guys need anything, don't hesitate to reach out. I hope to see you soon, man.
Yep, right on. Take care, John.
All right, everybody. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back in a few. You're listening to the Entrepreneurial Web.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Do you run or are ready to open your own business? Hi, I'm Jeremiah Fox. I've been operating and opening small business for the last 25 years, and I'm the host of the new show, The Entrepreneurial Web. Tune in every Friday at noon Eastern Time for insights and stories on the nuances of running small business right here on Fridays at noon, talkradio.nyc.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Once again, you're listening to the Entrepreneurial Web. Let's call this a special Friday the 13th fucking weirdo episode. We're broadcasting from an eerie, dreary, cloud-covered, half-empty New York City on a Friday afternoon. It's not quite dystopia. I didn't know what to expect coming into on the train. This is usually the only time I come to the city. Is Friday afternoons to do the show, and usually it's packed, and it looks like a Sunday out there. There's still life. There's still people. For those of you not in New York and are not connected or know exactly what kind of has transpired in the last 36 hours or so, Broadway was shut down completely. Gatherings of 500 people or more have been banned. If your capacity is less than 500, you are being urged, in fact, almost enforced to work at half capacity. Mayor de Blasio last night sent out a message saying it was specifically targeted at restaurants, which hits me on a personal level and financial level, that you should only be half full at all times. You should not have all your seats full. And a friend of mine who posted that, who shared it on Facebook, who owns a restaurant across the street from my restaurant, said, well, do we get to pay only half of our sales tax this month? So what's the fucking consolation going to be, Bill? I see you in the Ninth Street YMCA locker room sometimes. So I might have a couple questions for you. Oh, my God. So, yeah, it's getting real. There's no lockdown, though. Schools are still open. Subways are still running. A lot of companies have opted to work remotely. A lot of people have decided to stay home and or keep their kids home. Some people have left town. They're just like, peace, I'm out of here. So it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. It's definitely weird. It kind of reminds me, I don't know, did you ever see Friday the 13th 8, Jason Takes Manhattan? I was a kid when that came out, and it just struck me in a way. I was thinking about it last night. It's kind of spooky like that right now. It's just a little weird. I might get a mask on and run around and probably get my ass kicked if I do that. But it's going to come from somewhere. So I was opening the show up. Again, please call in. I had a great conversation with my buddy Andrew Barbara, who is, I'd say, the epitome of an entrepreneur. He and his wife, freelance musicians. He does freelance graphic design. They own a keto cookie company, and they keep it real, and they're hustling it from all sides. So if You can. Give me a call. Leave some comments. I need some stuff to talk about. Not really. I have plenty to talk about. But I would like to have some sort of focus. I want you to leave with something besides just listening to this baboon ramble for another 40 minutes. The number is 212-721-8183. Tom Justino, where are you? You're supposed to be giving me a call, brother. This is his fault. So this is one of my guys. He's a video editor, and he and I have done a lot of work together, and we hang out all the time. And we were hanging out in Della last night having a drink. And he was like, he texted me actually earlier in the day, and he said, I think you should really do a video just about what's happening, what's going on in the world. Do it, in the context of your environment. He was like, I'll shoot it for you. I'll help you out. And then the next thing I get is a text from my guest for today saying they weren't going to come. And I was like, you know what? I already have a camera. I've already got something set up. So this is Tom's fault. So, we were drinking. So I was all like, oh yeah, I could do this. No problem. I'll go do this by myself and issue a statement. But, if it's great, you can credit me. If it bombs, we're all going to blame Tom. And I think we have another. Speak of the devil, we got a caller on the line, and his name is Tom. Tom, how the hell are you?
I'm doing well. Right?
Giustino, I was just blaming this whole situation on you. So I told everybody, if it goes well, they can credit me. If it's a shit show, I'm going to give them your Instagram handle, and they can flood your DMs, bro. What's going on? So Tom here is he's a freelance videographer and photographer of the highest caliber. We've done some work together, and he makes everything look freaking amazing, even this ugly mug.
Thank you.
What's going on, man? How you feeling after last night?
I'm feeling good, man.
Did you get any more shitty news?
I've been trying to tune out the news as best as possible. Like I was telling you last night, I think, the best thing you can do is just go out and try and have that sense of normalcy.
Right.
And if you can be away from media and be away from TVs and all that kind of stuff, it's a real blessing. And just be around and have good conversations with people, and that's it. That's all you can do.
And have a roll of toilet paper with you at all times, just in case.
Have a roll of toilet paper. I don't
God
know if
knows.
Any lefts.
You never know what's going to happen.
What I saw coming down the street, people with just carts of them, but, whatever.
We're going to roll some fucking houses when this is all done, man. We're going to be like kids again out in the street. Jesus. So what did you go into work today? Are you doing some freelance? You doing some work?
I actually because I write, I'm a freelance, I'm a writer and director, and I've got a writing space in Brooklyn, and I swear I went in there and it felt like I Am Legend, and I left. I felt like I didn't get a memo or anything. The place was totally empty.
Yeah.
There were doors open, like they were airing it out. So I was like, did I miss a memo that there's
it's spring. All this is
iris all over.
This is just strange. A really great spring.
I just left, did a little bit of shopping.
Yeah.
Sending my daughter to a birthday party tonight, and had to go get presents and stuff. So just trying to seek normalcy. That's all.
Right.
And then I was waiting to hear your show. I wanted you to go rogue.
Man. I told you got to tune in going rogue. So Tom suggested this, and here we are. You got to listen to the beginning. I opened it up pretty hot. We'll see where this goes. So another gentleman from the neighborhood, Andrew D'Angelo, was asking just now in the comments if people were buying 10 bottles of wine at a time last night. Do you want to answer that question? To you, based off the knowledge you have from sitting next to me last night at the bar?
Yeah.
Yes. The answer is yes.
10 bottles of wine.
It was more like 20. So everybody's going to... Now I know why they need the toilet paper.
Yeah.
What's that? I got to bring the absinthe guy back on so everybody can wash their hands and sanitize. Everybody's going to need the toilet paper because they're going to drink so much they're going to have the shits based off the amount of alcohol that was consumed yesterday. The other thing that bugged me out that I saw this morning, it was an article that de Blasio had laid out, maybe some potential next steps if shit gets crazy here, and one of them was suspending the sale of alcohol, and I was like, "You motherfucker!"
Are you kidding me?
Literally,
that is the absolute wrong thing.
It's crazy, but I'm just like, you just want to sink all my businesses. So restaurants have to operate at half capacity. Yeah, you should stop selling alcohol. What the fuck, man? What am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Is he gonna make me an intern? I'll be a social media intern. I'll teach him how to podcast when he gets.
They're
when he gets thrown out
us into our homes, cowering in front of a TV.
Right.
I will not go quietly into that.
We'll
dark
not
night.
go quietly. We'll fight. I didn't know you
Hell
were
no.
Scottish. I thought you were Italian.
Exactly.
So projections for you, what do you think is going to happen for work in your industry? I saw, especially on Twitter, I follow a lot of guys that do video work and photography, especially for companies. They help people, bring their marketing ideas to fruition in visual form. What do you think is going to happen? I mean, you were saying one of the guys that you do a lot of work for, he's hardcore, he's old school. He's just like, fuck them, we're going to go.
Yeah, I'm going in.
Yeah.
No matter what, I will be in work next week because of some random thing that needs to get done for this book that's coming out or whatever.
Eat more vegans.
So I know I will be going in. I'll be helping him. And to be honest with you, I almost prefer it.
You prefer,
like I said, stay normal, stay
careful,
all
absolutely,
that kind of stuff. But,
absolutely.
I think it's very important to, when on a creative level, like video and photography and stuff like that, and even writing is, try to see it as an opportunity to pay attention to the stories that are going on. Pay attention to the way Manhattan, you never want it to be empty for a reason, but there's always something about it when it's empty. So how it makes you feel and, whether it's scared, whether it's, isolated or whatever. So take a photo or, write a page about it.
Right.
Do a video like I was telling you.
Yeah.
Like, let's, it's people need to know what's going on. So
yeah.
It's like, if I can take some pictures and share them and people can see New York operating normally. Like, I walked by a barbershop and this guy was getting his hair cut like nothing was going on, I think people just think it's not business as usual, and we're trying to be business as usual. And I think for the most part, it kind of is. So it depends on where you're.
Well, it depends on where you're at.
From it's where you're getting your news from. So
it depends on where you're at. Like Manhattan is definitely taking a big hit in certain spots. I mean, all these service industries surrounding the theater district and Madison Square Garden and everything. That's going to take a hit. But if you're in a small community like where we live, people could maintain a sense of normalcy as long as people are relatively healthy. There's no evidence of any kind of outbreak or anything like that. What I'm trying to do the same thing. It's just it's funny you said opportunity. Like there clearly going to be some opportunities. I'm trying to just really maintain. I'm not looking for anything extra, but I said it in the first portion that people are going to be at home. Things are going to be done differently. People are going to certainly take to things like social media more. If you have any kind of savvy with that, maybe a good opportunity for you, and maybe you get to start something different. Maybe another good old martial arts quote: "Think something different, see something new." In this time, it could be a little interesting. I just got a memo that said all New York City public libraries just closed from March 14th to 31st.
Oh. Okay.
So no books. So you're going to be on social media. You could be seeing a lot of me and Tom. My face and Tom's work. Tom doesn't like getting in front of the camera. I'm going to turn it on him from time to time. I don't want to look at this as too opportunistic. I just want to be humble and cool and grateful to continue to survive. That's really the approach I'm trying to take. And if we can maintain some sense of normalcy in our community, that I couldn't ask for more. Like if everybody walks away healthy and businesses don't go under, the ones that I think that matter, the people that have really worked their asses off. I mean, the NBA will survive, they'll pick up the pieces next year and they'll survive. The people that work in support of the NBA are the ones who I'm concerned about. And the people that, the people that have worked, the people that work their asses off to open a business that live day to day. Like if I don't open, we don't survive. There's not like I can't not open. I can't operate at half capacity at all time. That's that you just gave my business coronavirus. It's crazy. That's some crazy shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we're gonna take another break, man. I really appreciate you calling in, and thank you. Well, I'll thank you at the end if this goes well for the impetus for doing the show alone and trying to grind this bull. All right, bro. I'll see you in the neighborhood. All right, everybody. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back in a few. You're listening to the Entrepreneur Web.
Okay.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network at www.talkingalternative.com. Now, broadcasting 24 hours a day. Talking Alternative.
Do you run or are ready to open your own business? Hi, I'm Jeremiah Fox. I've been operating and opening small business for the last 25 years, and I'm the host of the new show, The Entrepreneurial Web. Tune in every Friday at noon Eastern Time for insights and stories on the nuances of running small business right here on Fridays at noon, talkradio.nyc.
Do you love or are you intrigued about New York City and its neighborhoods? I'm Jeff Goodman, host of Rediscovering New York, a weekly show that showcases New York's history and its extraordinary neighborhoods. Every Tuesday live at 7 p.m., we focus on a particular neighborhood and explore its history, its vibe, its feel, and its energy. Tune in live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. on talkradio.nyc.
I'm the aptly named host of Tony Martignetti Nonprofit Radio. Big nonprofit ideas for the other 95%. Fundraising, board relations, social media. My guests and I cover everything that small and mid-sized shops struggle with. If you have big dreams and a small budget, you have a home at Tony Martignetti Nonprofit Radio. Fridays 1 to 2 Eastern at talkingalternative.com.
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
All right, everybody, we're back. Happy fucked up Friday the 13th from New York City. Strange days upon us. Things are going well so far, though. I was concerned about how this show would go, but I'm getting tons of support, which is great. I just put the call to action out earlier, so people bail me out, help me out. Not that I don't have plenty to talk about, but the direction, and I want it to be engaging. I want people to enjoy it. So one of the things that I saw yesterday on Twitter from a gentleman named Jack Appleby, I think. Is that his name? He's a media guy. Jack Appleby. Finally. I'm not good with names. I remember this guy's name. I see it all the time on Twitter. He works for RGA, which is a big marketing company here in New York City. And he just simply said, brands, unless you're offering emotional support via entertainment or safety services, physical support, feel free to stay out of the way right now. And a discount is not support. So there are definitely people that are milking this and just doing some dumb shit. I don't know if I get another this is how we're responding to coronavirus email from some company saying, oh, we're cleaning everything. And I'm like, just now, Amtrak sent me a thing because we just took Amtrak last month, and they're like, just wanted to let you know we're cleaning the trains. And I'm like, you weren't doing that already? That's crazy. So I issued a statement through Della's, my restaurant's Facebook and Instagram the other day that said, for decades, the Department of Health has held us to such high standards and scrutiny that if you're supposed to wash your hands before and after everything. Like, you walked in the door, wash your hands. You whatever, just wash your hands. Oh, you need to wash your hands. Never, ever touch your face. Never touch your hair. Just none of these things. Always cough and sneeze away from there's silverware, there's plates, there's food, whatever. Just all these things, and we've been held to that standard for decades. Fortunately for me, maybe it's one of the reasons why I've had decent health my whole life. But I was like, oh, really glad to see everybody else is getting on board with this. It's like, we've done this all along, and you should have too. The question is, will the train stations and the subway cars stay as clean as they are now? How long before it goes back to just dirty condoms in the corner and the smell of urine? So I'm doing my part. I got no technical support, no physical support. I can make food. I can sell alcohol. I'm not sure. Some people are saying, if you take a drink every 15 minutes, that's good for just cleansing this all out. And some people are saying that it's better if that drink is alcohol-based. I don't know if there's any validity to that or not. But based off alcohol sales over the last couple of days, I think people are taking it pretty seriously. that's about as far as it goes in the physical support category. But I'm trying to be entertaining, and I think it's an important thing to remember that in times like this, I always approach uncomfortable situations with comedy, some sort of laughter, because no matter what, you're in a pickle. Panic is not the appropriate response, and we're seeing that a lot from people. But as entrepreneurs and business owners, it behooves you to go the complete opposite direction, because panic, the guillotine's always on your neck anyways. One false move and boom, there goes your head, and then you can't operate anymore. So I'm trying to do the opposite. I'm trying to have a good time. I'm trying to take things super slowly. Like the rest of the world is speeding up and freaking out and buying everything up, and I'm just trying to sit back and relax and make strategic decisions based off of the flow. Now, fortunately, the small community where my businesses are at in Brooklyn nothing has changed. In fact, I'm on social media and looking at things from the news, and people are losing their shit, and at the same time, my phone keeps buzzing every time I get a reservation for tonight, and it's happened a number of times. So people are, in general, in the smaller communities where things are safe and there have been no reported cases of any outbreaks or anything like that, people are trying to go about their life as normal, and I really appreciate that. I think that's the modus operandi until things really change. And the shit's out of your control anyways. And that's another valuable lesson is, don't pretend like you have control over most things, because you don't. You think you can, you think you have control. I was saying to Sam earlier, the facade's about to get yanked down for a lot of people, a lot of folks who came in to business at a time when things were relatively easy and haven't had a lot of obstacles and a lot of hurdles. Maybe you thought it was a hurdle or an obstacle, but again, your jaw's about to get tested. We'll see who can take a punch, and a real punch, not just a little jab, like a good cross or a hook to the chin, and keep going. Because I just got out of a really sticky situation, and I wasn't looking forward to another one, but I'm like, fuck it. I'm still dirty. I don't care. It's like, let's get it over with. And the conversations I've had with my partners lately have all been positive. We're just trying to be practical. And if there's any bit of advice, I'm trying to be a clown today. I'm trying to be a goof. I'm trying to make you laugh and entertain you. But I do hope you leave with the sense of hope. Something that this is not all is lost. It's a sticky situation, but many more are going to come, and it's going to show up. If you had asked me a month ago, I never would have called something like this being an obstacle right now, and here it is. And I'm not going to panic. I'm gonna wait and see what my friend Noreen here has to say. We got another caller. Noreen, how the hell are you, lady?
Hey, how are you?
Good. Are you calling to hijack my show? You're just going to take it over now?
I love your show, actually. I think it's really a lot of fun.
Noreen's a talker. We got to be careful. I'm warning you now. You have 6 minutes until the next break. What's up, lady? How you doing?
What's up? I'm in Brooklyn with you, and
Nice.
just going about what I normally do. And but this coronavirus has really gotten a lot of people that I know scared.
Yeah.
We had my BRG business referral meeting the other day, and everybody was like, "Can you do it online?" And I was like, I went into town. I went into where we normally do it,
Mm-hmm.
and I just hosted it from there, and it was fine. But I do have a concern. My neighbor across the hall is not well, and she got tested for corona, so she's isolated herself right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy shit. None of us know. That shit could be everywhere already, and we just don't even know. The testing has just begun, and I was just saying, it doesn't help you to obsess over shit you have no control of or no knowledge of. And you've said it before. You know what you know, and, until you do, you don't know.
You know what you don't know, but you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, and, if you're in good health at the moment, that's all you can take. You're more likely to get run over by a car or one of those e-bikes delivering goddamn Uber food than contracting this virus and going out that way. So
well, she works in the school, so the kids are like dirty little critters anyway.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. Well, I know. I live with some. Maybe I'm immune because I'm married to a school teacher and I got 3 kids in different schools and they touch everything. and they bring it home and share it. Have you felt any? I mean, you're a life coach. You help people get through obstacles like this. Have you noticed anything different for your business so far? Have you seen an increase? Have you seen a decrease?
Everything is pretty much online.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, it's just business as usual because everything is online. Everything's on the phone. Like my lunch lady, which I do once a month.
Right.
This time around, I would have had a lot of registrants.
Right.
But I haven't seen that. But what I've decided that I'm giving it until Wednesday because it's week off next Tuesday.
What's the date for that?
I'm giving it till Wednesday, and then I will probably, take it online.
What's the date of the lunch?
The 24th.
The 24th.
Yeah.
So registration for that's a little low, but so far your online and consultation services have been normal. You might even see a spike. Nobody's freaked out yet and be like, I need some Noreen. Help me, Noreen.
Help me, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
But people are like I was in the grocery store yesterday, and there was this girl came in, and she said that Wegmans was completely empty. Right?
Yeah.
People were standing around for toilet paper. I'm like, what is this toilet paper thing?
I don't get it. I mean, I kind of demystified it earlier. Alcohol sales have been super, super high. I think people are going to drink until they have the shits, and then they're going to need the toilet paper to deal with that situation.
I'm going to turn it to Armageddon, right? If it was really Armageddon, do you think I'd be like thinking
alcohol
about
and toilet paper? That's all you need.
Water and some food and my shelter. Right?
Yeah.
I can wash my ass.
Right.
You know what I mean? I can dry wipe.
So retail everywhere. Like I'm involved in 2 retail places. One is food and one is alcohol. And they've both seen super high numbers. And people are pumped. And I'm like, careful, because every wave recedes. And what's going to happen? Like, it doesn't matter if we did great right now, if we have to shut down for 2 weeks. Like, then we're fucked. This little bump right here serves us nothing. I'm not a big fan of those spikes like that. I hate that shit. I like it. I don't like holidays.
Have you seen that email that Facebook post that's going in? It says first we had Y2K, then we had bird flu, then we had swine flu, then we have this, and then we have that, and now we have this.
Yeah.
Look, we will go on. We're human.
Right.
We have to go on. I mean, some people will unfortunately die. Hopefully,
Yes.
I'm not one of them, but. I think it's just a part of being human.
But businesses will suffer too. Like, businesses are going to die from coronavirus and the business didn't get it, just because, I mean, it may become a situation where everybody has to close. But right now, places are already just ass out. And people, like people that don't have backups, freelancers, people that work in services for some of these big arenas that have just shut down. They don't have a backup. Right. They don't have another job. They're like minimum wage employees, and that's all they had. And those people are going to suffer. And small businesses that are cash.
Then we'll get to see how we survive, right?
Yeah.
Because if you have a neighbor that doesn't have food, I mean, even if you have to pass it through the door, pass it through the window, you're going to take care of your people. Come on.
Yeah. Oh, I hope so. I hope people show up the way you all have shown up for me, because I put out the APB today. Like, I got to do the show alone. I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't know what I'm going to do. I need some help. Help me. And
I'm of the mind that we will show up, and New Yorkers, we support each other. I remember 9/11. People were supporting each other.
Right.
We've had power cuts in the city.
Sure.
People supported each other. I don't think that we will be, leaving our fellow man to the side of the road.
Yeah, I hope not. I really hope not. And hopefully these communities, I mean, there's a lot of really cool tight-knit communities around here. Manhattan's taken a big hit, certain spots, the commercial zones, but hopefully these small communities the people within them will band together and hopefully see some resilience out of this. And hopefully relationships will form that will last a long time, like well beyond this. Once we're in a great situation again, hopefully people will remember this and maintain that, because the world fucking needs it right now. Any last thing you want to say? We're going to take another break. You got 30 seconds.
Breathe in, take a walk, clear your mind, be freaking happy.
Love you, Noreen. Thanks for calling. All right, everybody, we're going to take one more break. We'll be back in a few. Listen to Entrepreneurial Web.
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
I'm the aptly named host of Tony Martignetti Nonprofit Radio, big nonprofit ideas for the other 95%. Fundraising, board relations, social media. My guests and I cover everything that small and mid-sized shops struggle with. If you have big dreams and a small budget, you have a home at Tony Martignetti Nonprofit Radio. Fridays 1 to 2 Eastern at talkingalternative.com.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
talkingalternative.com.
All right, everybody, we're back. You're listening to the Entrepreneurial Web. I'm your host, Jeremiah Fox. Very, very interesting Friday the 13th broadcast. Alone, solo, like walking in the woods and Friday the 13th. Where's Jason going to come from? It's a little spooky, but I feel good. And honestly, the support coming from everybody has been overwhelming, and I really appreciate you all. This is so fantastic. And as I was saying to Noreen Sumter in the last portion, I hope you all show up for your friends and your neighbors and your community in the same way, because people are going to need it, and businesses are going to need it. The show was supposed to be about personal brand today, and I want to still try to tie that back in. So whether your personal brand is your business or you, like for me, I'm involved in a bunch of things. And so I kind of have to base it off of me and connect the dots between the two. You know, I'm involved in entertainment, I'm in hospitality and food and beverage, I'm in fitness and nutrition. So trying to connect all those dots, but like all roads ultimately start to come back towards me, and I have to be very unified and clear in how I present to people who and what I am in a way that, I mean, there's, you know, the icky way of thinking a personal brand, like, I don't know, what the Kardashians come to mind, something like that. That's not what I'm talking about. Clearly, look at this fucking beard. It's been explained to me as your reputation, and that was something that was drilled into me by my grandfather, who just passed away a couple years ago at 96 years old. He was a firecracker, this dude. He was a hardcore entrepreneur and hustler, and grew up, I mean, he was born in the 20s, grew up in the Depression. His dad went to prison during the Depression, so he and his brother were like, his mom would literally give him a couple pellets and say, "Don't come back without dinner." And he became a marksman. I mean, the guy was like an excellent shot with a BB gun. And he could make some squirrel pot pie. He definitely could. But he always drilled into me, even as a young person, your word is everything. Like, don't shit on that. No matter what mistakes you make, whatever, do not fuck up your word. Always be truthful and honest and be able to represent yourself. So now we're really going to see who's who as the shit really starts to hit the fan in the business community. And it's a great opportunity for small businesses, community-based businesses, whether you're profit or nonprofit, if you're in a community. And it could be physical, like my places are all in a really cool little neighborhood, and we will do everything we can, we always have, to service our community, and we'll continue to do so. But if you're digital, there are digital communities, and you all need to work together. You need to create relationships. Treat it as a person that you would see on the street. You know, don't just because you're on a laptop across the country or across the world from somebody you're working with, that's not an invitation to be a douchebag. So pretend like that person's right in front of you, and you're building a relationship. That's what's going to survive you, because when the shit goes down, people don't care about your product unless it's toilet paper, hand sanitizer, or wine. Right now, nobody gives a shit. It's who's delivering it, who's the person behind it, what's your story, what are you about? making those connections will far surpass any product that you have, especially if you want to survive. If you're trying to get in and get out quick, do that silliness, whatever. I got no love for you. I got no advice for you. My businesses, I hope to last for a long time. And if that's what you want as well, I think that's the approach you need to take is to build relationships, communicate with people. There are a number of different ways to do that these days. My buddy Tom, who's a really great videographer and photographer, called in earlier. Find somebody like that to help you communicate through. I mean, you've got social media now, so many awesome free tools. And like I barter with Tom. I don't have the money to pay him. I give him free food and drink. And the dude shows up like crazy. It does amazing work. So find the ways that you can, especially now, you're going to have to. Some people are going to lose some cash. I'm going to lose some cash. I'm a little nervous. But again, I know that panic is, that's going to be the death sentence. I know the only thing I can do is find some comfort in all this madness, not make rash decisions, sit back on my Zen jiu-jitsu mentality. Got to give a huge shout out to Sun Dojo, Professor Stewart and Laurel Carroll for all the advice they've shared with me over the last 4.5 years training at their dojo on Prospect Ave in Brooklyn. Little did I know, I thought I was just learning self-defense and was going to make my muscles a little stronger. But it ended up becoming just the strongest mental messages and the mental muscles. I got a small brain, but there's some strong muscles up there. It was all saved for entertainment. That's what it was saved for laughs. The IQ is low, but the messages I learned in there, and it was through the spectacles of jiu-jitsu for sure. Like, how do you get out of this situation? There's this bigger dude on top of you, and he's got you in a bad spot. Going ape shit, as Professor Carroll would say, it just hurts everybody. So try not to go ape shit. You know, you're seeing these people go ape shit around you, but it's not going to help your business. Think more like, I think of like soul surfers a lot. I spent a little time in Virginia Beach and learned to surf there. And there were these old guys, and they were always just like, no, man, just kick back on that wave. Just ride that wave. And I think that's the best advice, like not going for the biggest wave, not going for the most powerful. Just try to enjoy the ride and be able to take the next wave, be able to train tomorrow, be able to open your doors tomorrow, whatever that looks like for you. Everybody's got different industries, but those mantras ring true for everyone. So far, product lines have not been shut down, deliveries, things like that. Resources are all still totally available for now. So just try to be normal, try to find that sense of normalcy. Don't take advantage of people. That's just shitty anyways. Again, if we got a few minutes left, if you want to call in and harass me, give me something else to talk about, the number one last time, 212-721-8183. What else was I going to talk about? Last really great thing, and it was mentioned before, especially because freelancers have been hit so hard. Freelance musicians, videographers who, you got these companies that are they're looking at their second quarter budget, and they're like, we need to make some new stuff. We need to start marketing. We need to hit things hard. And all of a sudden, shit hit the fan, and they pull back, and they're like, I can't spend that money right now because I can't market because my doors might be closed, or I know people aren't coming in. So there's been a little recoil on their expected income. And if you're the type of person that has everything dumped into one skill set, these are times that can be hard. I got really great advice from a business mentor, a guy I worked for when I was a kid. We've stayed in great communication. Tony DiSilvestro owns Why Not Italian, a chain of Italian restaurants throughout Virginia and New Jersey. And he said, he said it's better to own 20% of 5 things than 100% of one. He told me that. I was probably in college at the time pursuing music, and I think he saw like that kind of gaze in my eyes when you just meet that new person. You're like, oh, I think I love this person. He was like, yeah, don't fall into that trap. And I took him seriously, so I constantly maintained multiple skill sets, and now I've got a pretty good setup and working on more. And now's a really great time for you to try to practice that. If you don't have something in place, you might want to. We got one last caller we're going to take. Andrew. How the hell we doing, Andrew?
Oh, good. How are you?
Good. Is this the Andrew that I know?
I think so, yeah.
What's your last name?
D'Angelo.
This is D'Angelo. What's up? I don't know your voice over the phone. Sorry. I know your
Okay.
face. What's happening, brother? How are you?
Good. How are you doing, man?
Great. We just have a couple minutes left here. What do you want to share with people? I was just singing your song, man, talking about freelancers and losing some shit. What's going on in your world right now?
I mean, it's insane, right? I mean, I was like watching the plethora of gigs and shows and concerts and events being canceled yesterday. It's like just they pulled the rug out from underneath all of us. I mean, musicians, creators, you know.
So what's in store for you? I mean, you're a tough dude. I was reading your post from last night. You survived brain surgery and brain cancer. Is that right?
Yeah, my analogy's been that, you know, folks, look, they told me I had 6 to 8 months to live 10 years ago, right? From dying from terminal brain cancer. And I was like, all right, so my life is over. I might as well enjoy the time that I have. And then here I am. Well, it's 11 years now.
That's amazing.
It is amazing. But I think it wasn't en masse, right? It was just me. But now it's affecting so many people that it's difficult to get people to calm down, as I think Tom was talking about, right? Like everybody just, you know, calm down and go about your, you know, your normal day, normal night. And it's just, people are freaking out, man.
They are. Yep. And yes, the wine store was bustling yesterday. We sold a shit ton of
wine. Was it really?
Oh my God, it was insane. And I didn't realize I was there earlier. And
one over on Atlantic, and it was so the line was so long. So I was just kind of wondering if it was the same.
Yeah,
over there.
No, I think every wine store in New York City had an epic day yesterday. Yeah. Fortunately, deliveries are still coming today, so we got you covered, guys. We got 1 minute left. I'm going to give you the closing statement because you're such an awesome person and you've gone through so much, and I think you could really offer some great advice for people. You got 60 seconds. What do you want to tell people in this crazy ass Friday the 13th laden time?
Well, I think one thing is that we're only seeing the beginning of this, and we just need to all calm down because they say it's not going to be till mid-May, late May, or even June until we see a peak. So let's just all settle down. Be, like you said earlier, be nice to each other, and maybe help each other laugh, and you know, do what we can to. I mean, I was laughing all the way through brain cancer, and people thought I was crazy. But here I am, 10 years later, and now they're making a film about me. So it's like
that's fantastic.
Everybody just someday you're going to look back at this and go, "Oh wow, that was crazy."
Yeah,
and you'll still be doing, you know,
and hopefully laughing. I think that's the best advice. You got to be able to laugh, man. You got to be able to laugh, otherwise life is gone. All right, well, we got to head out, man. Thank you for calling in. I'll see you around the neighborhood. Right, thank you, everybody. Oh, again, the support today was overwhelming. Thank you all for helping me get through this. I'm laughing. I'm smiling. I hope you can smile, too. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe and wash your hands. Have a great weekend, everybody. You're listening to the Entrepreneurial Web.
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
Do you run or are ready to open your own business? Hi, I'm Jeremiah Fox. I've been operating and opening small business for the last 25 years, and I'm the host of the new show, The Entrepreneurial Web. Tune in every Friday at noon Eastern Time for insights and stories on the nuances of running small business right here on Fridays at noon, talkradio.nyc.
I'm the aptly named host of Tony Martignetti Nonprofit Radio. Big nonprofit ideas for the other 95%. Fundraising, board relations, social media. My guests and I cover everything that small and mid-sized shops struggle with. If you have big dreams and a small budget, you have a home at Tony Martignetti Nonprofit Radio. Fridays 1 to 2 Eastern at talkingalternative.com.
Crazy listeners, looking to boost your business? Why not advertise on Talking Alternative with very reasonable rates? Interested? Simply email at info@talkingalternative.com. Talking Alternative.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's the Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays, 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network at www.talkingalternative.com. Now, broadcasting 24 hours a day. Talking Alternative.
Do you love or are you intrigued about New York City and its neighborhoods? I'm Jeff Goodman, host of Rediscovering New York, a weekly show that showcases New York's history and its extraordinary neighborhoods. Every Tuesday live at 7 p.m., we focus on a particular neighborhood and explore its history, its vibe, its feel, and its energy. Tune in live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.